Shalom Aleichem, Yisrael. Peace be on you. This is Yehonatan Da. We with you here on what they call the 15th of July, 2022. I'm broadcasting 2 days earlier because of some personal things I have lined up from my humble office. And no intro again today. These past 4 weeks have been critical, and I want to just stick to this. Hopefully I finish this segment because I want to talk about the Bema seat. So no intro, but I must pray to the Most High, Yah, oh Yahweh Shua HaMashiach. I bless your name for putting my heart to love you, to teach me how to love, and you're teaching me how to love. You're teaching me the love of the law and the law of your love, oh Yahweh. And I bless your name for this. You, dear Yahweh, work in me to share this with your elect ones as you have given it to me. In the matchless and ceaseless, loveful name of Yahweh Shua HaMashiach do I pray. Hallelujah, 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 Yahweh. So you pray for me as I continue with this most serious topic about the law. And the topic is the desolation that lays waste, part 2. Now, I want to begin with the scripture. We talked about the true meaning of Isaiah 6:9, and there's a few other places where Yahweh says he's going to keep on talking, but we're not going to hear. And we don't quite understand that. And we think that Yahweh is not being fair. That's not what's really being said. And these are Hebraisms that we're not understanding here in the language of slavery. But I will read Isaiah 6:9 to start off this segment. And it reads, "And he said, go and tell this people, keep on hearing, but do not understand. Keep on seeing, but do not perceive. Make the heart of this people dull and their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and return and be healed." Then I said, "O Master, how long?" He answered, "Until the cities are laid waste and without habitation. The houses are without a man. The land is utterly desolate." And it goes on. This is talking about this is going to happen until the apocalyptic age. And this is repeated again in Daniel 12:7, when Daniel asked the Malach, "How long, O Yahweh, will this destruction of your people be?" And the Malach says, "Until we have been trampled like dust." So here we go. What does that mean? It means whatever Yahweh has given to us, we are not going to receive it to the end. But that is not all bad. Matter of fact, there's nothing bad in it, because we're going to continue in this lesson and see how it ends up at the end for the good of the whole world. The good thing about being trampled into dust is that Yahweh created us out of dust. So Yahweh is going to recreate us out of that dust of destruction. So let's continue here in Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah 28. And we're going to read verses 8 to 13. Isaiah 28, 8 to 13. And it reads, "For all tables are full of vomit and filth. No place is clean. Who will I teach knowledge? And who will he make to understand this message? Those just weaned from milk? Those just drawn from the breast? Because precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line on line, here a little, there a little. Because with stammering lips and another tongue, he will speak to this people, to whom he said, this is the rest with which you may cause the weary to rest. And this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear." The word of Yahweh was to them, precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, that they might go and fall backward and be broken and snared and caught. Did you hear that? Keep on teaching them. Keep on preaching, keep on speaking. They're not going to hear. Their ears are going to be dull. Make them numb. Every last prophet in the so-called Old Testament all preached to a stiff-necked people. And our ears, our forefathers' ears got dull. And he says it was for them a stumbling. A stumbling. And why a stumbling? Because they did not accept the cornerstone. Who is the cornerstone? Yahweh Shua HaMashiach. It's a foundation, a sure foundation that helps you to stand firm even when the wind beats and blows. And you stand firm. But for those who do not accept that rejected stone, it crushes you. It destroys you. And this law has been taught line upon line. They have every last line, every last word, every last letter in the Torah counted. And for what? For a stumbling, the fall back. And who's teaching it? The babes and the ones who stumble and stutter. Don't you hear me? If you listen to the channel, how many times do you hear me stumbling and snattering? I'm doing it right now. And I believe it's because my Ruach does not marry with this language of slavery. Moshe, he stuttered and stammered, but he had his big brother to help speak for him. And then when he was the oracle, Yahweh Shua spoke through him. Yet of his own nature, he was a stutterer, as am I. Yahweh, help me. I hope that you hear. I want you to please look at this whole series of messages on the YouTube. Slowly look at the scriptures, because it is not heretic teaching. It is to help you to really learn the law, and it's more simple than you think. In that vein of hearing, the Hebrew word is Shema. 8 times in the book of Revelations alone, Yahweh Shua himself out of his own mouth said, and this is one example in Revelations 2:7. And he says, "He who has an ear, let him hear what the Ruach says to the called out ones. To him who overcomes, I will give to eat from the tree of life, which is in the middle of the paradise of Yahweh." He took us all the way back to where Eve was. If you have an ear to hear what the Ruach says, not what the stone tablets say, which have physical borders and limits, but and which crushes. You smash a tablet upside your head, it will kill you. He says what the Ruach says. He took us back. If you have Shema and an ear to hear, you're right there at the tree where Eve was. And you're right there in the same place she was to make your decision. The tree of life or the tree of TORAH. Kai or TORAH. Life, or do you want to know everything, good and evil? Just like Yahweh knows good and evil. Do you want to know everything? Yahweh got his prophets up early, teaching us this law. And all we did was became more stiff-necked and more stiff-necked as a backsliding people. But even in the Old Testament, the true nature of the law was understood by those who had a heart to understand it. Let's go to Micah. Micah 6 and 8. Read the whole chapter. Read the whole book. It's only about 8 chapters. Micah 6 and 8. After giving a beautiful dissertation about how wicked our forefathers are, what Micah says is this. He says, has shown, O man, Yahweh has shown you, O man, what is Tob, what is good. And what does Yahweh require of you, but to do justly, to have mercy, and to walk humbly with your mighty one. Micah certainly did teach to go back to the law. Nevertheless, he summed it up to making it simple. Just do justly, be upright, walk humbly. That is what you do. He boiled the law down. Moshe did it long before him in Deuteronomy 6:5. Moshe, speaking in the book of Deuteronomy, was speaking as a prophet, not as the oracle. And he said, just love Yahweh with all your heart and all your might and all your soul. Yahweh Shua quoted that to Hasatan when he was being tempted by the devil. So am I out of line? I'm just reading what these great men and what the Messiah himself said about the law. It is about love. So really what we have to do is we have to relabel this word law. I'm speaking from the language of slavery. This language we are speaking now and you're understanding now got to us in slavery. From English, who call themselves Angles, we're speaking English. That means they are angles. They deviate from the line. They are deviants. And we're speaking a deviant language. So when you see this word law, you think what's coming into your mind is not what should come into your mind. What should come into your mind when you hear the word Torah is instructions of love. And that's the only thing that should come into your mind. Whenever you hear the word law, the real Hebrew word is Torah. And there are instructions. That's what the word Torah means, of love. Law does not connote instructions. Law connotes judgment. That's the English version. The Hebrew is Torah, which connotes or denotes instructions. Instructions of what? Of the love that will reconcile us back to Yahweh Shua, which we lost in the garden. I'm trying to speak slowly and clearly for you to understand. Because Yahweh Shua did the same thing. He boiled Deuteronomy 6:5 down in Matthew 7:12 and what we call the golden rule. It's simple. What Micah said in Micah 6:8. Yahweh Shua said in Matthew 7:12, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If everyone did that, we would be in heaven right now. Do whatever you want done to you. That's how we're supposed to treat someone else. That is the golden rule. Yet here we are in 2022, still stumbling on such a simple edict. Yet we want to slash Eve, who at least when she was beguiled, she never knew what evil was. Here we are right here knowing everything, knowing good and evil, which she didn't know. And we still stumbling? We have history to look at of our forefathers who failed in the 613, and we're still stumbling on it? We are more at fault than Eve. Because at least she never had that history and never knew. And we know it. And our preachers are still preaching the law as in keeping a 613. Hebrews teach the law. I'm teaching the law. I'm trying to get you to understand the proper meaning and application of it. See, the thing about it is, Hasatan offered Eve, and he's offering us all of everything. He says you can have everything now and be just like Yahweh. And we know, as we see it here now, 6,000 years later, we're still stumbling and bumbling and falling with all of these laws. See, there's no lack of laws. How many gun laws do we have? How many laws are there out there against murder? Against breaking in somebody's house? How many laws are there against cheating on your wife? You go to court and you're going to lose if it's proven that you've cheated on your wife. How many laws are out there against stealing and everything? The books are huge. There's volumes and volumes and rooms and libraries of laws. The problem is not another law. The problem is the receivers of the law. The heart of the receivers of the law is the problem, not the laws. Even this evil world has good laws. They pattern them after the Torah, but still they're good laws. Yet we still get in our car and we speed. We still do it. So is it the law's fault that you speed to work? No, it's not. It's the heart of the speeder. Yahweh Shua offers us one thing. He offers us himself. And in him we have all of everything. That is the truth. It is a lie that you can have all of everything and be like Yah. But it is a truth that you can accept Yah and have all of everything. It's just the opposite. So what Yahweh did, since we were stiff-necked and did not follow all of his prophets that he had for us, we lost the land. And we got scattered all abroad. So now, here we are, as prophesied by Ezekiel, we have all waken up. And we got a whole lot of new brews who come up and haven't learned from their forefathers and trying to reiterate the same pattern given to the forefathers. We're doing the same thing over again. Had we not forgot that Yahweh buried Moses? And here we are waking up and trying to dig him back up again. Wake up Moses, dig him up, and try to and get those tablets and live by it again. And you're going to fail like your forefathers did, because it's the wrong application of the law. There's nothing wrong with the law. What's wrong is the hearts that receive it. And now new brews are out here. I read about it again even today on social media. Well, where's the commandments where I can go in and take another wife? My heart hurts. How many times? The most common theme on these Hebrew websites. And by the way, I'm only on it because I have another wonderful Ak who suggested I get on it to help increase my viewership, my membership. I think I got a total of 3 or 4 new members. I'm at 43 right now. It hasn't helped me much, but it has increased my frustration with new brews, which is why I didn't want to be involved in any of those groups in the first place. The number one theme is, how can I have another wife? Or how can I get rid of my current wife? Since they know so much, I guess they must have skipped over the book of Hosea, whose name means salvation, whose wife Gomer he was commanded to redeem every time she went out there to play whoredom. But you want to get a new wife. But you want to add on another wife. Over here in Babylon, there's no such thing as keeping Yahweh's covenant in Babylon. Not the 613. You're in Babylon. You want to get another wife. You want to get a different wife, but you don't even know what it means to shoot a mother bird away and take her eggs. You don't even know what it means that if you want to keep a donkey, you have to break his neck or redeem it with a sheep. You don't even know. You're wearing your sea seats, but you don't have the cerulean blue from that creature in the sea that gives you that special blue that needs to be on the 4 corners of your sea seats. But you could go to the Amazon and buy a shirt with sea seats on it, and it's not according to the law. You want to get a new wife or another wife and add on to wife, but you have clothing mixed. You're wearing polyester, but you want to get another wife. I'm chastising you as humbly and meekly as I can, you new brews, to stop trying to walk in the shoes of your forefathers who wandered around in the desert for 39 more years accumulating laws because of their stiff-neckedness and their stone hearts. Until after the 40 years, Yahweh said, he let them in the land anyway, and all they did was came through with 613 laws, and when they only had 2 in the beginning. And you haven't learned to keep 2, but you want to go ahead and add 611 more to them, and you can't even keep 2. We can't even love what we're supposed to love. let alone love our enemies. And Yahweh sure say you're supposed to love our enemies. And we can't even love our own sister and brother. We claim we love Yahweh whom we have not seen, and we can't even love our brother who we have seen. Oh, what a lot of work we have to do. Start from here, me first. Love Yahweh and love your neighbor. That is the Torah. Now the law, that's a whole different thing. Try to get in the kingdom with that. Try to get into the kingdom with that. This is why Ezekiel said in Ezekiel 36, I wonder if I should have time to go there. But 36, 24, 27 talks about taking away the stony heart and giving us a heart of flesh. The commandments were written on stone. But Yahweh desires to have a relationship with us, to dwell within us and have a relationship with us. I'm looking here at my screen here. Yahweh never planned on hitting us upside the head with a bunch of stony commandments. So go ahead and go to Ezekiel, read all of Ezekiel chapter 36. But Yahweh's going to take away our stony hearts and give us a heart of flesh. Why? So we can go ahead and obey his laws, his Torah. Now, remember I talked about labeling. If we go ahead and take all of the KJV in the Old Testament, wherever we see law, if you replace that word law with love, it will help you understand better what Yahweh is trying to say here. So your ears won't get numb and dull from hearing it. So you won't stumble and fall line upon line, precept upon precept. If you replace all those words of law and put in the word love. Now, another thing you can do in the New Testament, everywhere where you see love, and even the name Yahshua, put in the word law. And you will see that in the New Testament, they're not talking about getting rid of the law. Everywhere in the New Testament where it says Yahshua's name, when he's talking about himself, or when he's talking about the law, put in, when he's talking about love, loving one another, put in the word law. That way you'll see that the Old Testament is talking about love of Yah through the law, and the New Testament is talking about the law that brings you to the love of Yahweh in the Old Testament. They're hand in hand. So how do you practice this love? Do unto others as you have them do unto you. But I'm going to give you another scripture too. So hold on. Now, let's talk about this pre-fall man. In the pre-fall man, if the law was meant to be as it was, then when Adam woke up, why didn't Yahweh throw him beside the head with a bunch of commandments? He did none of that. He commanded him to be fruitful and to multiply, to tend the earth. He did not command any of these laws. Pre-fall man didn't need that. It's post-fall man who needed it, but he needed to be able to connect it to the love of Yahweh so he can be reconciled and be brought back to him. Remember, is the law, I'm teaching here the desolation that lays waste. Did Adam and Eve ever behold the face of Yahweh after they took of that fruit, the forbidden fruit? Never again did they see his face. We started accumulating laws that you can look at after that. So there was no looking at the law. So we're going to talk about the desolation that lays waste. Post-fall man needed laws, but he needed the discernment to direct him back to Yahweh. So what Hasatan has now is bait for those who are immature new brews. Everybody's coming to the knowledge and the understanding of the law, the Torah. The whole world is coming to it because the whole world recognizes the need for better laws. That's what they see it as, but it really is a better heart. So what we have is the whole world being set up with the bait of the law. Hasatan has a fish hook. He has a fishing rod with a hook on it, and what's dangling from it are the commandments. And everybody's in the sea. the sea. And you know what sea means. Up there with their mouths open, ready to take the bait to their destruction. The bait of the law. That's the best bait that you can have to bring everyone together, is with the law. And that's what he's going to use. Because the thing about the law, if you keep all those laws, what you're saying is you don't owe Yahweh anything else. You have met your obligation to him. You are done with him. And what the law does is coveting. Hasatan says you can be like Yah. So what Hasatan did is same thing that he did in heaven, where he fooled 1/3 of the heavenly host. He baited them with the coveting of being like Yah. It is a foundation of all sin. Coveting, wanting something that you don't have, instead of being content with what you do have. What the Malachim and Hashemayim didn't have was the equality with Yahweh. Hasatan offered them that they can be equal to Yahweh, something they don't have. They coveted that and they fell. He used the same trick with Eve. You can be like Yah. This is good to eat. You can know good and evil just like he does. Well, it's true. Now we know good and evil. How is that working out? How's that working out for you, for me? And now that we know what good and evil is, look around. Is it working out? So, thou shalt not covet, which is the 10th commandment. All the other commandments are built on top of that. That's the foundation. If you don't covet, if you're content with what you have, be fruitful, multiply with what Yahweh gave you, you cannot fall. You cannot sin. You are right where you are, where Yahweh wants you to be, and you are building on that. You're not looking for what your neighbor has. You're not seeking to be more than what you are. Thou shalt not covet. The word says the love of money is the root of all evil. And what the love of money means is the love of gain. Coveting, because you can't eat money and survive. You can't try to live inside of money, make a house out of it, or get your clothing dressed with it. But what you have money for is what it can get for you, what you can gain from it. It's not the money, the tangible money, because you would die. You'd be on an island with all the money in the world on an island. You would die if there's no food there to eat or nothing to cover yourself up with. You're going to die. You need food. You need air. You need water. All the money in the world, if you're on an island by yourself, it's not going to save you. If you had you and a wife there, so y'all can make babies, but you're going to eventually die. You need food, air, and water. If you just had money, so what the money does is it allows you to gain these things that you do need to survive. You also can gain things you don't need. So love of money really means the love of gaining, not tangible money. And what coveting does is coveting means you want to gain something. The love of gaining is a sin. There's nothing wrong with increasing and gaining. Yahweh, that's the first commandment Yahweh gave us, to be fruitful and multiply. Be fruitful and gain and grow. But if you love just that instead of what it connects you to, because we're supposed to gain and grow in the knowledge of Yahweh Shua. We're supposed to be gaining and growing as it connects to him. We increase as it connects to him. So when the owner came back to the 3 men who he gave the talents to, they're supposed to show their talents and give it back to him. They're supposed to gain with it. The one had the 1, another had 2, and another had 5. It wasn't for them to gain for themselves. It was to give back to the master. So we be fruitful, multiply to give back to the master. It's when you want to gain and multiply for yourself that you have created the foundation of all sins. That caused 1/3 of the heavenly host to fall. That caused Mother Hawa to fall. And to this day, it's calling people here to fall. Falling was trying to gain equality with Yahweh through commandments. Sent out there for a stumbling for those who don't accept his son. I'm trying to make it simple. Galatians 6, 7, and 8. I hope I'm getting this through. Yahweh, please speak through me, dear Yahweh. I love you, Yahweh. You know I do. I have shortcomings. Please work through them, O Yahweh, in this beautiful word. It's a beautiful word. Galatians 6, 7 and 8. And it reads, do not be deceived. Yahweh is not mocked, because whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. Because he who sows to his flesh will of the flesh reap corruption. But he who sows to the Ruach will of the Ruach reap everlasting life. And that is what I just said. So you cannot say, well, hey, Yahweh, so Yehonathan is teaching to forget the law. It's just love everybody. Whoa, pump your brakes. Shaul, the rabbi who knows this law front, back, sideways, up and down, in and out better than anyone since Moses. He said, don't, Yahweh's not mocked. You ain't fooling Yahweh. He knows the heart. Whatever you do must be from a heart of love. If you sow to the flesh, you're going to die when the flesh. Sow in the Ruach and you will live with the Ruach. The Ruach will never die. The Ruach is life everlasting. So to hone those in who want to now go out and do all kinds of manner of dirt and evil, sow to the flesh, because you don't have to keep the 613. No, you keep the 2. And those 2 are the law of love and liberty. Now, so we need to work on that, because while we're talking about trying to properly keep the feast days, arguing with one another about what a new moon is, what a full moon is, arguing so much debates I'm seeing on social media, when we need to just focus on loving Yahweh and loving your fellow man. Love is the opposite of lust. Lust takes, love gives. So if you're having problems understanding what love is, it means you're going to be giving. Giving to the point of helping someone else. And in that giving, that means you become less, but you get your fill from Yahweh. Yahweh fills you to give to others. You are not your own as He created you. You are for the blessing of Him and to salt others. So if you don't know what love is, remember, it is the opposite of lust. Lust takes, love gives. Be a giver, be a lover, be law-abiding. Now, talking about this desolation that lays waste. These 10 commandments, I hope you do look at my edits of the videos. The 10 commandments, the 2 tables of stones, need to be 2 tombstones. Yeah, that's what they are. For us today, your tablets of stone are tombstones. Kill it. Yahweh has already buried the man Moshe, and you got to stop trying to dig him up. Make those tablets of 10 commandments tombstones. Because if you want to look at, and we know the law is perfect, converting the soul. That's what Psalms 19 says. Psalm 19 is beautiful. It's like a smaller rendition of Psalms 119. Psalms 19 is beautiful, like a smaller version of it. It talks about how beautiful the law is and how perfect it is. Now, think about it. You know you are a sinner. You know you have sinned. You know you have a history of sinning. You have a great resume of sinning. I know I do. So do you think as a sinner that you can go look at the perfect law? Even Adam and Mother Hawa never saw Yahweh's face again once they sinned. And yet, and we know the law is perfect. We know the law is perfect. So how is it that you think you can keep it or even look at it? You can't look at something that's perfect. Yahweh says no one has seen His face. No man has seen His face. Not even Moshe. That's not what the Hebraism meant. It meant they had a one-to-one relationship without Him seeing His face. That's why Yahweh had to walk past him and cover His face and let him see His back parts. They talked to one another as friends. That's what face-to-face means. That means they were on equal ground in understanding what Yahweh was putting out there for him to receive. That means he fully understand what Yahweh was giving him, friend to friend. He didn't see his face. So the abomination that lays waste is going to be this law that Hasatan is going to put out there. And like I said, all you can do is download the app when the desolation is set in the holy place, and he has that image, the image of the beast. Remember, it is this beast, this thing that he takes, which is the law. He's going to, because of his beastly presence over the law, and has everyone download, everyone, even homeless people, unemployed people, everybody, children. They're making a law that you have to have a phone. If you can't afford one, the government gives you a phone. And all you got to do is download that app, and you'll see that image. And there's going to be a desolation never seen before. Remember, I showed you, go to 1 Samuel 6 and 19. And see how, when they looked at that law, 50,700 men of war were killed. Or shall I say desolated. 50,700. They didn't have no smartphone app where they can go ahead and download the image. So here today, we have billions. There are more phones than people. Not to mention your TVs, your smart TVs, which come on automatically. I have an old flat screen TV. I don't even know how. It's not a smart TV. Yet I come into my room and the TV is automatically on for some reason. I go downstairs to this TV downstairs is a newer TV, and it might be a smart TV. It might be. And that's on. These devils can use the satellite to turn your TVs on. And the image of the commandments will be on all the TVs of the world. There are more TVs than people. It will be on all these smartphones, on every phone in the world. That image will be on every last desktop screen. It's going to be over the face, the dome of the earth. The image of the beast, of the image that makes desolate, and it's going to devastate everyone who looks at it, because you're a sinner. You cannot look at the perfect law. The law is beautiful and perfect, so you have no right to use your sinful eyes to look at it. You have to accept Yahweh and receive his love. Let him purge out the sin of the blood that's in your body. Wash it with sprinkling. Maybe I'm going to go back again with the scriptures on how you're not supposed to have blood. And sprinkling clean you. And then, like Shaul said, when we are resurrected, we will behold his face and be changed in a moment and a twinkling of an eye. Because why? We will see him as he is, and we will be just like him. That's when you can see beauty, because you have been perfected. Dawid says, a body you have prepared for me. And Yahweh has a body prepared for each one of us. A body that has no history of sin. A body that knows no sin. A body that he has for us, that he's going to marry with our eternal living Ruach with it. And we're going to be like him. Have you ever considered why Yahweh says, I sit between the cherubim on the mercy seat? Why is the lid of the Ark of the Covenant called a mercy seat? Have you ever thought about that? Really? Why is it called a mercy seat? It covers the ark. Why? So it won't devastate everybody and kill everybody. It's mercy. And who sits on it? Yahweh. I want to get through this today, because I want to start next week talking about the Bema seat. And then we can talk about the white throne judgment. Because if you would think, please stop and think, unfurl your thinking. Everything in there will keep you explained if you just take time to pray and fast and think. Turn the plate down. Turn the sheets down from your wife. Turn the TV off. Get into your mikdosh. This office place is my mikdosh. And spend some time with this word in your heart. Mercy seat? The mercy is Yahweh, sitting on the mercy seat. He is your buffer. He is your veil to the 613. Which really, because Hasatan adds to the law, curses he who adds to the law. So it's 666 of them, which is a repetitive number. 6 is the number of man. 6 is a lie. and 6 is the number of murder. Hasatan is a man, he's a murdering, lying man. And he gives you the repetitive, endless laws for you to be shackled in subjection to him. But Yahweh gives you 2 laws. Love him and love your fellow man. He's not mocked. You want to know what love is. Love is giving as it relates to Yahweh. For the increasing of the knowledge of Yahweh. It's all about him. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's not about us. It's all about Yahweh. It's all about him. Because in him you have everything. And in him only. The whole world will be deceived, it says. And even the elect, if it was possible, if Yahweh didn't shorten that time, when the dome of the earth is covered with the 613, when every app, when every smartphone, every desktop, every TV screen, every screen will be downloaded with the image of the beast. Oh, Yahweh, wake them up. Because the Hebrews are waking up all over the world and they jumping right into the traps of their forefathers. And why? Why? Let me go to Zechariah 14, 12 and 12. Talking about this loving this law so much. It's the desolation that lays waste. And you want to go and stick to that? Well, why? Zechariah 14, 12 and 13. And this is talking about this is the kingdom. This is the kingdom age on earth, okay? This is what Ezekiel talks about in Ezekiel 40 on. This is the kingdom age. And this will be the plague which Yahweh will strike all the people who fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh will dissolve while they stand on their feet. Their eyes will dissolve in their sockets, and their tongues will dissolve in their mouths. It will come to pass in that day that a great panic from Yahweh will be among them. Everyone will seize his hand, his neighbor, and raise his hand against his neighbor's hand. So that law is going to devastate everyone, dissolve their faces. And then it's going to be remembered no more. Because I'm really looking for another scripture also about this law of how it is going to Jeremiah 3, 14 through 18. Jeremiah 3, 14 through 18. This is important. We just showed you how it's going to melt people's faces. Jeremiah 3, 14 through 18. And it reads, and again, this is talking about future glory. Okay, this is the future. This is the future here. Jeremiah 3, 14 to 18. Return, O backsliding children, says Yahweh. Because I am married to you. I will take you one from a family, and 2 will bring to Zion. I will give you shepherds who, according to my heart, who will feed you with knowledge of understanding. Then it will come to pass when you are multiplied and increase in the land in those days, says Yahweh, that they will say no more, the ark of the covenant, the ark of Yahweh. It will not come to mind, nor will they remember it, nor will they visit it, nor will it be made anymore. At that time, Jerusalem will be called the throne of Yahweh, and all nations will be gathered to it, to the name of Yahweh, to Jerusalem. No more will they follow the dictates of their evil hearts. In those days, the house of Yehuda will walk in the house of Israel, and they will come together out of the land of the north to the land of the south, and their inheritance and inherit the inheritance of their fathers. This is the last days when we come together. Yahweh says nobody's going to even talk about the law, talk about the ark. They're not even going to remember it. But you want to, so why are you trying to do it now? Read Jeremiah 3. I want you to remember that, 14 to 18. It supports what I'm saying about the end of the law as you know it. But the receiving of the Torah, which means instructions of love. instructions of love. John, let's hear what Yahweh Shua has to say. John 15, 9 through 14. John 15, 9 through 14. Because he can say it better than I. Because he's the one that wrote it, because it speaks of him. John 15, 9 through 14. Yahweh Shua speaking. As the Father loved me, I also have loved you. Live in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will live in my love. Just as I have kept my Father's commandments and live in his love. These things I have spoken to you, that your joy may remain in you, and that your joy may be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. You are my friends, if you do whatever I command you. Did it sink in? Do you have ears to hear, like Yahweh Shua said 8 times in the book of Revelations? Or are you going to be dull, like he said in Isaiah? Dull ears. Are you going to be trampled in dust, like he said in Daniel? With a stiff neck, like we did for 39 years in the desert, wandering around. Have an ear and hear what Yahweh Shua said out of his own mouth in John 15, 9 through 14. He sits on a mercy seat. Yah have mercy. Matthew 11, 25 to 30. He's got more to say, because I perceive that you still didn't get it. Matthew 11, 25. And I'm going to read down to 30. Yahweh Shua talking. I thank you, Father Yahweh of heaven and earth, that you have hidden these things from the wise and prudent and revealed them to babes. Even so, Father, for so it seemed good in your sight. All things have been delivered to me by my Father. And no one knows the Son except the Father, nor does anyone know the Father except the Son, and the one to whom the Son wills to reveal it. Come to me, all you who are laboring and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke on you and learn from me, because I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest in your souls. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Don't you think it's easier to have a chore list of 2 than 613 or 666 or however many laws that your wife may give you to do when you come home? Would you rather her give you a list of 2 or 613? Yahweh Shua says it's that simple. My yoke is easy, my burden is light. Let's stay right here in Matthew. Let's go back to 5, 17, and 18. Matthew 5, 17, and 18. Do not think that I've come to destroy the law and the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Because surely I say to you, till heaven and earth pass away, one jot or one tittle will by no means pass away from the law until all is fulfilled. He just said it will pass away when it is fulfilled. So when is it fulfilled? We're going to get to that. So don't think you're going to be living in forever through all the ceaseless ages of eternity wearing tzitzits and breaking a donkey's neck and redeeming with a sheep, and of keeping the Shabbat and keeping the feast days and the holy days. They all pointed to Yahweh Shua, and now that he's come and gone, they all reflect back to him. That means it is going to be dissolved. It's going to be obsolete. And when is it going to be obsolete? I'm going to give you the scripture on that. But right now, let's go to Romans 8. Let's go to Romans 13, 8 and 10. Romans 13, 8 and 10. Let me just read 8 through 10. owe no one anything except to love one another, because he who loves another has fulfilled the law. Because the commandments, you will not commit adultery, you will not murder, you will not steal, you will not bear false witness, you will not covet. And if there is any other commandment, are all summed up in this saying, namely, you will love your neighbor as yourself. Love does not do any harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love is a fulfillment of the law. The rabbi said that. He got that from Yahushua, who quoted Moshe, who told us in the Old Testament to the New Testament, from Ezekiel, Micah, Jeremiah, Yeshaya. They've all told us the same thing. Dawid got the clue. He said, a sacrifice you do not want, but you want a broken heart and a broken spirit. That's what Yahweh wants. Malachi told us also the same thing. That they taught the law, but you got dull from it because you didn't hear the spirit of it. Because you can never be reconciled. Read Hebrews by slitting an innocent sheep's throat. By slitting an innocent goat's throat. Will never get you into the kingdom. No matter how circumcised you are. No matter what kind of clothing you wear. You will never be reconciled to Yahweh. Never. Not that way. Not that way. Because when your brain says law, it thinks of judgment. When it should think Torah, which speaks to instructions of the knowledge of the reconciliation of Yahweh. That's what it speaks to. And nothing else. What is the desolation that lays waste? The desolation that lays waste is the law. Not because of anything wrong with the law, but because of the receivers of the law. The receivers of the law cannot keep the law. Because if you keep it, that means you're equal to Yahweh. Yahushua is the only one that kept it. And that is why he thought it not robbery to be considered equal to Yahweh. And that's why he could sit on the mercy seat. And that's why we're going to talk about the Bema seat next week. Because on the mercy seat is him. You go to him. Or you're going to humbly come to him and say, can you just go ahead and get up, Yahushua? Appreciate you. Offer me your grace. Which, by the way, is Tekhanol. Miracle grace. Miracle grace. He can get off that seat because that's your right. It's your right. You want to go ahead and go straight to Yahweh instead of having an advocate? That's your right. Yahushua gets off the mercy seat. You go ahead and lift that lid up and go straight to Yahweh. Good luck. Good luck. I mean both those words in the full sense of what those two words mean. Because it is best to receive the love of Yahushua, the grace of Yahushua, the mercy of Yahushua, than to go straight to his daddy. He told you straight and plainly, love me, love your neighbor. And we can't even do that. How can we even go even deeper than that, which is to love your enemies? You don't even love the one who lives in the house with you. You don't even love the one who lives in the house with you. And you know you can't love your enemy, and you're going to say you love Yahweh, who you have never seen. But you see your co-workers every day. You see your families every day. You see the people you worship with every week, and you say you love them, but you don't even show the true love to them. But you say you love Yahweh. That's a lie. It's a lie. And heaven's openness, and heaven is for those who will not receive anything that loves or practices a lie. And Sheol has opened her mouth wide, and it is never full, never satisfied with those who want to fall at the repetitive law of lies. So, Yahushua says that when it is done, it is finished. When will that be? Let's read John 19 for our final scripture. John 19:28. Our final scripture, John 19:28. He says the law will end. See, for you people who think it's going to last forever. No. He said when it is fulfilled, it will end. That's when it's going to be over. Because there's no need to be slitting and killing nothing. No need to be paying tithes and all that stuff in the eternal kingdom. Did Adam pay any tithes? Didn't need all that when you was a perfect man. You'll be a perfect man and woman. You will not need to do any of that stuff because you're going to love Yahweh. You're going to be like him. Wherever he is, we will be also. John 19:28. This is once again Yahweh Shua talking. 28 through 30. So when is it done? When is it going to end? You're going to be surprised. After this, Yahweh Shua, knowing that all things were now accomplished, that the scriptures might be fulfilled, said, I thirst. Now a vessel full of sour wine was sitting there, and they filled a sponge with sour wine, and put it on hyssop, and put it in his mouth. So when Yahweh Shua had received the sour wine, he said, Zig Nikal, Zig Nigmal, it is finished. Zig Nigmal, it is finished. And bowing his head, he gave up his ruach. That is when it was done. The law, as you knew it then, for the previous 4,000 plus years, was over. He dropped the mic. Yahweh Shua says, Zig Nigmal, it is finished, it is done, it is over. Now, if you want to get into the kingdom, if you want to get to where he is, then you need to go through him. Go through him, receive him. Do not, if you're not circumcised, don't get circumcised. You ain't got to be keeping no tithes and offering. You're going to love, and you're going to learn how to love as you have an intimate relationship with him. A daily one. Daily working relationship with him on a daily basis. Every day is the same. All days are alike. You're going to worship. You're going to love him. You're going to worship him. My best example I've given many times is like you have 10 righteous couples. All of them on a wedding night go into their chambers. All 10 of them are going to love their wives in their own unique ways. None of them have sinned, but each will be different. That's the same way it is with Yahweh Shua. Your worship might be different. It's going to be different than your neighbors, but both righteous. Shaul says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Work it out. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. I'm going to end it right here because I want to leave some time for actually the intro. I think I will tell Sean to give us an intro and an outro. Stay tuned for the Bema Seat. Support, like this ministry, and pray for me as I pray for you. Shalom Aleichem. Peace be on you. Zig Nigmal. It is finished.